At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast is now on YouTube. Go on YouTube and search Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast and click that subscribe button to never miss an episode.
Hi, howdy, hello, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. I am one of your hosts, the man with the most fantastic tan in all of podcasting, Dougie Fresh, and on tonight's episode, we will be discussing episode number 92 overall, entitled The Joy of Pokemon. If you're particular, it is the 12th episode of the second season. And an episode that's going to go down smoother than a calcium tablet. Now, of course, I can't just discuss this by my own, as much as I might want to. So to join me on this adventure is the fastest canoeer around, Professor Chris G. How you doing tonight?
I'm swimming up shore. Well, probably not, because apparently Florida's about to get hit really hard by some hurricane that's on its way.
Dude, I'm saying it's and y'all want to move down there.
I want to move to the high rise. Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'll be starting through silk if I can ever get one of these intros down in one shot.
Oh, we always got next week, bro. You got a lifetime. Trust me, there are thousands of Pokemon episodes, so you're bound to get one of them right.
I was so good when we were doing the wrestling podcast. I had that shit down to a science. And then just randomly, you're like, hey, you want to start doing the intros for Pokemon? And I'm fucking conceited enough to go, yeah, I could just pick it back up. It's like riding a bike.
Is it like riding a bike?
Oh, it is if you ain't ridden a bike in about 5 years.
For real. But how are you doing, bro? I'm good on my end, but how are you?
No, I'm good. Let's see, we're recording this on a Tuesday night. I will be heading down to Louisville for a wedding.
Ooh, this weekend.
And yeah, so be looking forward to Sunday.
Oh, okay. I hope to see a lot of pictures.
It'll be over. I mean, you might see pictures, but they ain't gonna be from me.
Oh, yeah, you're not one to really take too many pictures.
Oh, I'm just gonna try my level best to survive.
Are you gonna be hammered the whole time?
Well, I made a joke when this started getting planned out, because one of the things that always gets brought up when we're at family functions is the fact that my uncle got up and danced on a table at my mom and dad's wedding. And one of the first things I asked is, how sturdy are these tables going to be at this, reception?
Oh, you're not. Are you going to get up and dance?
The look my mom gave me, I wouldn't be on this podcast. No, I probably won't be getting up on any tables, but
there's a possibility. You can give your brother something to remember at his wedding.
I'll give him something to remember.
Oh,
remember, I got to give the toast,
Oh, I know. Do I know? You better be nice. You better be nice.
Taking these hour-long walks every day gives you a lot of time to think.
I know.
But yeah, so that'll be exciting. Let's see. So I mean, this is going out about Thanksgiving-ish, right? Maybe the week before. I think we figured out last week.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So hopefully everything's going well with them. But yeah, so we're just on the steady countdown.
And
Kind of glad you.
I wanted to bring up to you real quick, in regards to, I'm glad you said Thanksgiving because it just sparked in my mind. So normally we put out some type of special or something around the holiday season. And this year, we're probably not doing that because we got kind of a big surprise around Christmas, right?
Yes, I think we decided we were going to push it to Christmas instead of releasing it on Thanksgiving, and we just decided this the other day.
Yes. So, I mean, you might get something extra. Maybe I'll throw an extra manga out there because by the time that this comes out, I should be on freaking volume 4 at this point on the Patreon feed. I can probably throw an extra bone out there for people to listen to. But I do wanna talk about that real quick. So it's come to my attention, and it came to my attention from you, because I was looking at the numbers of the manga and I was like, why are so many people starting at number 2 instead of starting at number 1? Unbeknownst to me, that I guess a lot of you that started the manga, or if I'm dropping multiples, don't realize that there's an episode prior to the one on your Apple devices. You don't have that problem on Android. Just saying.
Oh, shut up! I'll leave this show right now. Not even look back.
Well, you don't. You don't have that problem. I mean, we also have swipe on our phone too. So.
Yeah, you know what?
Oh, stuck in the 1990s over there, Apple. Come on.
You can swipe. I don't care if we get comments. You can swipe my ass.
Oh, Jesus. That is funny. Funny. But yeah, it's come to my attention that on Apple devices, and it might be on other devices as well, maybe depending on what platform you're listening to our show. But when we drop surprises or like multiple episodes in one day, the first part of that drop gets dropped under, and I guess you don't see it properly. Can you kind of explain that to our audience, because you're the one that witnesses it firsthand? Can you kind of explain that, Doug?
When we drop 2 episodes in one day, or when any podcast drops 2 episodes, really. So obviously episode 1 is scheduled to go out first. So it'll go out and then it'll be followed, 5-10 seconds by episode 2, depending on how slow everything is on the upload or whatever. But like when you open, and I'm trusting people to do this as I'm walking them through it. If you're on Apple, you open your podcast app. You can scroll and you can see like your available podcasts you have to listen to. If a podcast that you're listening to has 2 available episodes, the one that's going to be on the Listen Now page when you first boot up the app is going to be the latest one uploaded, which in the case of the Pokemon manga drops would be episode 2.
Yes.
So you basically have to go in to the library tab and click on that certain podcast. And if you scroll just a little bit, you'll go, "Oh shit, they dropped episode 1," but it won't be displayed.
Gotcha.
So that's, I think, the problem that you are running into, because people just see, "Oh, every Pokemon episode ever dropped an episode," and they just click. Well, they're clicking on episode 2 because that was the latest one to drop.
Gotcha. You know what would help people when you subscribe to our show? You can get the auto download. I'm sure Apple has that. But the auto download button where it automatically downloads into your phone or device that you're listening to us on. And that way you don't have to worry about it because it's going to show both of the episodes that drop. But I think I found a way that I'm going to fix that going forward, because I do plan on dropping multiple episodes here and there as we get further down the line. Is every time I hit an episode where where I have a bigger audio file on Patreon, so like say episode 4, I might end up just dropping the 1 through 4 in one file and taking off the first 3 at that point, so you can listen to 1 through 4 as one file. Or should I do that, Doug? Or should I just keep individualized when I'm doing these drops and just keep the longer ones on Patreon? I'm not.
I would say just keep the longer ones on Patreon, because that way, if enough, see, this is where I'm coming at it. If enough people get frustrated with the individual 20-minute drops, they'll go, "Oh fuck it, I'll just go over to Patreon."
Yeah, that is true, because you do have me on every single one of these 20-minute drops, giving you a 5-minute ad to go over to Patreon to listen to the rest of the episodes. So the way that I'm doing it now, and it might change in the future, but fuck it. I mean, I'm able to do it as of right now. Every Wednesday on Patreon, you're gonna get a major drop. So by the time you're listening to this, we're still on volume 1. I might very well be at this point on volume 3 at this point, because you're getting multiple drops. Like the first week they got 4 episodes. The second week they got another 4 episodes. The third week they got 3. The fourth week they got another 3. And there's a section on our Patreon, if you don't want to subscribe to the actual podcast, like the every Pokemon episode ever one, there is a section just for the manga, which is $5. But I do think that getting all of it, which would be the movies coming up this Christmas, you will be getting the manga and the weekly podcast a month in advance, all for a very, very, very low price on Patreon. I would just go over there and just subscribe if you're a fan.
Yeah. Honestly, make it easy on yourself.
Exactly, because it's easy to say. I guess can we announce? Should we announce now what movie we're doing now that it's around the Thanksgiving holiday, just to get everyone ready to subscribe for December so they don't miss the movie drop, Doug?
Well, yeah, I struggle to think about it in that headspace, but yeah, I suppose it's they're hearing it.
Yes. So this will prepare you, so you can subscribe at the beginning of December or at the end of November, as you're listening to this. But we will be reviewing Detective Pikachu. We have chosen Detective Pikachu as our next holiday movie, and that is only going to drop on Patreon, and this time it will not be on the free feed like we normally do. So
you're going to get a preview.
You will get a preview. But if you want to listen to the full review of that movie, and I've only watched that movie once, so watching it again, I might have missed a lot.
Never seen it.
You've never seen it? Ooh, you're gonna. I think you're in for a big surprise. I think you're in for a lot of laughs.
And it's kind of funny because the other day, well, actually, this about a month or so ago, the other day in real time. Shut up. I had a free Saturday night, and it popped into my head like I could throw it on just to get it done, and then when I watch it again, I can just kind of watch it as a refresher. And I didn't end up doing it. I mean, I know I will eventually. I'm not the first time I watch it isn't going to be to review it.
Yes.
I know that much.
Well,
But
me and you, we should be at this point recording that probably within the next couple weeks to get that ready for the Christmas season, since we're gearing up towards it anyway. But we should probably sit down within the next few weeks and hash out when we're going to actually sit down and record that. But I think you're going to like it.
yeah, no, I've heard nothing but good things about it. Like and that's why I'm excited to do it. Like if it was a stinker, I think I'd be excited to do it, but for a different reason. But I've heard good things.
It's getting a sequel.
Well, now we have to do
it. So I believe it's getting a sequel. I'm gonna look it up now. Ba, 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 ba. Nearing release according to that's for the video game.
There's a video game? Of course there is.
Yes. It is. There is a video game. IMDb is saying yes. The sequel to the 2019 film Detective Pikachu. IMDb has it expected to release July of 2024. And
well, now I'm curious.
And that it's in development as we speak.
Now I'm curious about this video game that I knew nothing about.
Yeah. So the original video game came out for the DS, and I believe the next one is coming out for the Switch. I believe.
Oh, of course it's coming out because that's Nintendo. I was excited for a second.
So yes, in the game, you play Pikachu who goes around looking for clues. I have a very like slim memory. I played it when it first came out, but I don't remember everything. But I know you like rescue a few Pokemon and you're looking for clues and you're looking for something, but you do play a Pikachu that can talk in the game.
Okay.
So.
Is it voiced by Ryan Reynolds?
No, it was for the DS. So it's I mean you're reading what you're reading.
Oh, gotcha. Of course. Of course. Yeah, of course.
But I'm very curious how they're going to do this second Detective Pikachu, because I'm sure using the Nintendo Switch I guess diaphragm, they could give it a voice, but we'll see. Because I mean, even Pokemon games, still to this day don't. I mean, you still read what people are saying, so they still
get a little voice clip.
Yeah, you get a small voice clip, but you don't get full blown people speaking dialogue. I don't think we're there yet, and I don't think we're gonna get that in a Pokemon game probably until maybe 2 more generations of consoles going down the line.
Gotcha.
But yes, everybody, we are doing Detective Pikachu. You will get a preview in the free feed, but if you want to hear the full review, you will have to subscribe on Patreon for a very small price. But when you do subscribe, like I said, you get more of our weekly podcast a month in advance, and you also get the manga as well. So you're getting the manga, movies, and our weekly podcast. So
we're a bargain and a half over here.
For real. So and I'm really debating, and I might have made up my mind by the time you're listening to this, but I'm really debating on putting like a digital clip of the manga, so in case you don't have the manga, you can follow on Patreon. So I gotta figure out the copyright laws with that.
Well, yeah.
Because I don't want to be selling something I don't own, but I will see, because I do have a digital copy and I'm not sure what the laws are on sharing that. So we will see. I will look that over.
I suppose you did buy it,
Yes.
but that
I have both the physical copy and the digital copy. And I even made a joke to you today. I started looking at the digital copy because I don't like creasing my books reading these. And you kind of made fun of me. You're like, oh, so many jokes. So many jokes.
No, it wasn't about that. That was something else that I can't.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I could tell that one.
Steamy showers. So, all right, everybody.
Something. Take my tablet in the bath with me.
Shut up. That is completely taken out of context.
I could give context.
So
that's the problem.
But all right, everybody, that's enough of us selling our Patreon over to you.
You don't get it every week.
No, you do not. And we try our best to not push it down your throat, but it is the holiday season and we are pushing it now so you can listen to all the extra content that we are giving out to you, everybody. So we just want you to know that there's a lot more than what you're getting on this free feed.
To put a button on our holiday discussion for now, I think it would only be fair to mention that us doing Detective Pikachu wasn't our call.
No, it was not. We're actually given the idea by one of our Patreon subscribers. So thank you. You know who you are. Thank you for giving us that idea, and we did take it into consideration, and we're gonna make it happen. So thank you.
Like as soon as he said it, I don't know if we gave him credit like as we were on with him, or if it was like the day after.
Yeah, like, I mean, I guess we can say who it is. Grant,
I mean, the folks have heard him.
Yeah. You all know Patreon subscriber Grant. He did give us a shout out to. He's like, maybe you should do this movie. I think it'll be really good. I am going to be taking a lot of notes because I know there are a ton of Easter eggs in this movie, and I want to make sure that we do this movie justice when we do go over it. So it might movie are we? I think it's 2 hours. So I think this is going to be a 2-nighter for the both of us. I don't see us going through that whole movie in one go. I just don't.
No, I don't. No, I can tell you sitting here right now. No, because that's 2 hours straight through. But we're gonna obviously be pausing it, and
it's probably gonna be like a 4-hour podcast.
So yeah, we're not gonna do that on one night. We're gonna we're gonna be breaking it. We're gonna.
We've been fortunate to get through all of our movies in one night, and I think on the Secret of the Jungle, I think it was that one. We got really, really tired towards the end of reviewing that, and I think a yawn actually went through in the audio, and I was not able to cut that out because I forgot about it. But I think a yawn went through in that review towards the very ending of it because we were so tired by the time we were doing that because it was so late.
So we will figure out I mean, you won't know. It'll just go out as, but we're going to hold our hands up and be honest and say we're not going to do that in one shot.
No, we are not. No. But you'll feel the same energy going all the way through it, which will make it more exciting for you, the listener. So.
If you listen to the What a Cartoon movies on Talking Simpsons and you think that they do those in one shot, you're fucking crazy.
Oh, but yeah. No. So, All right, are you ready, bro?
I
This was a very newsworthy podcast at the beginning, so I do enjoy doing these every now
Yeah, I think we stumbled onto that because I think you and I just kind of realized that it's like, oh, we're almost to Thanksgiving,
and then.
they're hearing it. It's like for us, it's not even October yet, but that's just how damn professional we are. We've got that much in the can. Um,
Exactly. On the free
so
feed,
yeah, on the free feed.
on the Patreon, we try to stay a little bit more close to home, so it doesn't feel like we're doing this too far in the future. Because we did at one point get way too far out there, and we're like, okay, we need to reel this in a little bit. We were like 3 months out, and I'm just sitting here. I'm like, yeah, we could take like about 2 or 3 week break from
I
doing.
think you did. You're like, yo, we need to take we need to take 3 weeks off. I was like, what? You getting tired? You're like, no.
We got too much in the can. Because we were doing 2 episodes at each recording, so I mean that's 2 weeks right there.
Yeah.
So I think we're back down to about one, maybe two in a week span now. But that's a big maybe. But we're keeping it closer to home now.
Yes. Yes.
So all right, the joy of Pokemon, or translated from Japanese, sailing joy across the raging waves, is what this is. And this
Sounds like a
episode,
poem.
I know. The original air date in Japan was April 15th, 1999, and premiered here in the States March 4th, 2000. So there we go. Are you ready to jump on
Right.
into this episode, bro?
Absolutely.
All right, let me get past the intro here on my part, and we're here. All right, everybody. So we start this episode like we start every other episode on the back of Lapras in the middle of the ocean. Lapras is just so happy to just be sailing, and it's nice. On this pause screen that I have right here, Lapras legit does look like a baby Lapras in
Hmm.
in the beginning of this episode. Normally, I don't notice it, but Lapras does. They did draw Lapras out to being such a baby. Ash is polishing the GS ball. Misty's playing with Togepi because she's actually watching Togepi for once. And then we see some rage in the water. The water is just splashing all over the place, and Ash is like, what is that? And you just hear Chansey, 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 and freaking we see Nurse Joy, a very, very tan Nurse Joy, just swim right by Ash and our heroes, and she is just parading down. And Missy's like, I don't know what that was, but it wasn't a motorboat. And Pikachu was like, and Pikachu's like, Pika. Ash looks over at Tracy and is like, Tracy, did you see what that was? And he's like, I sure did. Someone was rowing that boat, and it looked like Nurse Joy. And they're like, huh? I don't think Nurse Joy would be that strong to row that fast. And Ash was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it looked like Nurse Joy. And Tracy balls his fist up and he's like, Ash, I am a Pokemon watcher. I know what I saw, and I saw Nurse Joy. And Ash is like, he just brushes it off again. He's like, yeah, well, whoever it was sure in a hurry to get to wherever she was going. All right, Lapras, let's follow that boat. Let's catch it. And Lapras just goes off, and we get the title sequence. Doug?
Yeah, let's go and be nosy because this has nothing to do with us, but we're not doing anything this episode, so we got to fill 20 minutes. Yeah,
so
well, basically, so they end up on land, and he's doing his best Sherlock Holmes impression. He's got this big magnifying glass, and he's identifying two sets of footprints on the sand. One you can clearly tell is a shoe, most likely a sandal of some sort, and one is the prints of a Chansey, which
Yes.
would jive with what they saw and heard in the boat. And then he goes into real detail. He's like, "Oh, shoe size looks to be about 7 or so," and he's like, "They're heading in this direction," and he takes off, and Ash and Misty are like, "Well, we should probably stick with them because somebody that horny get in a lot of trouble." So Ash calls back Lapras, and they go running after the footprints, which, in the grand scheme of things, if somebody else was looking for Joy, it would be messed up because now you've got Ash and Misty and Tracy's foot, but that's not neither here nor there. And Tracy's like, "Well, these are where the footprints stop, and they don't go anywhere; they just stop." And and who was it? Misty's like, "Well, it's very odd that footprints just stop unless somebody's walking in a paint bucket." And she was like, "Facts." And and you see from under the water, and this is when they posit the query again. They're like, "Are you sure you saw Nurse Joy?" And Tracy's like, "Well, whoever it was definitely more muscular than the Nurse Joys I've come across." And Ash is like, "More muscular," and Tracy's like, "Bigger." And it's just,
larger in circumference, and her shoulders are about 1.5 centimeters wider.
he's just going full Brock here, and it's just, and we see a perspective from under the water, and then all of a sudden, big wave, and this big honking would feed a village Magikarp just comes crashing down on land, and like that was a close one. And Togepi's just smiling like an idiot, and it's humongous, and the Magikarp is just flopping, carp, 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 carp. Because it's a fish and it's on land, and it's and
could you imagine this Magikarp evolving into a Gyarados?
well, now we saw it. Spoilers for the end of the episode.
Oh, yes.
You brought it up. I don't feel like it was much bigger than a regular Gyarados. I could be wrong.
It wasn't, and that's what kind of bugged me. It definitely 100% was not that much bigger. But
so I was a little
that or they just didn't depict it the right way.
I think they realized, like, what was Gyarados on screen for? Maybe 5 minutes, probably less than that.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to be paying that close of attention? And again, I feel like I've said it a couple times on this show. Didn't figure in 2000 that this was going to be on, streaming and with the ability to pause and nitpick individual frames and all this. So Magikarp is just flopping, and Ash is like, "Well, we should be all right because all Magikarp can do is splash, no matter how big it is." And and Tracy's like, "Well, this is a big Magikarp, but it's even bigger than it should be, even if it was like 100% healthy." And and they're going over like it's 3 meters long and all this stuff. And Ash is like, "It's giant." Misty's like, "Well, it's also dying." And Ash is like, "Well, I suppose we could put it back in the water." And then they realize, they're 10 years old, and A, they can't get near it because it's, flailing all over the place, and B, it's a big honking motherfucker. And that's when we hear off screen, it might be smart to move away from him. And that's when we see a very tan, very jacked Nurse Joy.
Yes.
And Chansey is standing behind her, and she says that the Magikarp is upset because it's running low on calcium.
Yes, and it's from this moment that Tracy's like, he's like, man, I knew I was right. I knew it was you that passed us after all. And they're like, hey, Nurse Joy, you look a little buffer than the usual, Nurse Joy. And she's just walks over to the Magikarp and doesn't pay that any mind. And she goes over and starts rubbing on Magikarp, and Magikarp is like, Magikarp, Magikarp. And Missy's like, man, look at how she's handling that Magikarp. But it was going wild just a second ago, Ash goes. And Nurse Joy is like, I think we've got what you need right here. Chansey, bring the calcium tablet. And I'm not even gonna lie. Like this seems like an overdose to me. I do not want Nurse Joy giving me any type of medicine. Because
I don't know, man.
Well, this one. Because because Chansey literally comes over with a whole bottle of like calcium tablets and just throws it into Magikarp's mouth, and literally like 9 or 10 tablets drop into Magikarp's mouth.
I got at least 15.
Oh, you got 15?
I got an advantageous pause. I think I got about 15 or so.
Let's see. Let me count. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 tablets.
There you go. It's a bottle.
Yeah, the whole bottle.
That has to be a bottle.
You see, I was giving Nurse Joy benefit of the doubt by saying 10. There was 18 more of those motherfuckers. But
he takes them down, boy. He just doesn't even flinch.
And Nurse Joy is like, that should make things a whole lot better. And Magikarp's like, yeah, I'm high. I feel so much better now. And then, no joke, right after this, Nurse Joy shows her pure strength and picks up Magikarp and puts Magikarp over her head. This big ass Magikarp. And this Magikarp is like I would say like 3 times the size of her. And she just lifts it over her head. She's like, all right, Magikarp, nice seeing you. Have fun. And our heroes their mouths are just wide open. They're like, did she just pick up that Magikarp? And she just throws Magikarp back into the water. So she just overdrugged this Magikarp and then said, get back in the water.
Overdrugged.
And Tracy is like, man, that was amazing. And Magikarp comes out of the water and is like, carp, Magikarp. And you see some hearts coming from its mouth, basically showing that it's in love with Nurse Joy for helping it out. And she's like, I feel the same way about you. Mwah! And Magikarp starts blushing, goes back underwater, and he is gone. Well, it is gone. And they're like, wow, that was amazing. And Tracy's like, hey, Nurse Joy, you and Chansey whizzed by us in that kayak before. Do you paddle from island to island? And she's like, we sure do, guys. She's like, lots of the islands on here have their own Pokémon centers. But these small few islands that surround us that I visit are the smallest, and they can't have Pokemon centers on these islands. So I just swim to these islands instead of having my own because it's quicker and it's more efficient to do it that way. I don't know. I mean, I would still have some Pokemon centers on these small islands.
Or at least like a small shack structure like like we're going to see here in a couple minutes. I mean, that just doesn't seem sustainable.
No.
Because think of the amount of equipment and medication you've got to carry around with you in that kayak.
And it's at this point because Tracy is a Pokemon watcher. And he's like, I just want to make watcher. I know. I'm putting that in quotes. He goes, give me 1 second. I want to make a quick sketch. He's like, the Pokemon's fluorescent nightingale. And she's like, oh, thank you. And he makes a quick sketch of Nurse Joy depicting every last bit of her on his piece of paper. And he's like, yeah, I'm a Pokemon watcher. Yeah, she's not a Pokemon, Tracy. He's over here making his own Playboy magazines.
But she helps Pokemon, you see.
Yes. And that's when Ash and Misty introduce themselves as well. Misty's like, I'm a water Pokemon trainer. And Ash is like, I'm training to become a Pokemon master. And then his stomach starts grunting. And Misty's like, oh, not again. Togepi's like, Toki. And from here, Nurse Joy is like, she's like, it sounds like Ash has quite a healthy appetite. I have a clinic right down here, so why don't you come along with me and be my guest for lunch today? Which why are you bringing that much food? Enough for 4 people and Chansey.
Oh, Chansey can probably put away some stuff, and you see Nurse Joy, she's putting on those gains. She's got to burn her calories as well.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And like you were about to say, Ash immediately he's like, up for free? Yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
He's like, all right, we're getting free food today. Woohoo! So, all right, Doug, we go back to this Pokemon hut.
And it's like I say, it's a little structure. Not that big. Would easily fit on an island. I didn't catch this on first watch, but there is a satellite dish, which I suppose there has to be. So you could have like communication between other centers and, potential law enforcement and stuff, but I didn't catch that. And they're all sitting in the living room, and Chansey's got a tray of food. Ash has a sandwich, and Pikachu and Togepi are chowing on some kibble, and Tracy's got, if I were to guess, probably a mug of tea, maybe some juice. And he's like, hey guys, after we finish lunch, we should help Nurse Joy go and check up on the Pokemon. And Misty's like, I'm all in for that. And Ash is like, yeah, I'd love to see how she takes care of the Pokemon. Once again, hammering home the fact that there was no plan for this episode, and we just had to kill 20 minutes. So we see Nurse Joy is checking on Lapras, and she said she's very healthy, but she's still a little tired from all the swimming. So if you just let it rest its Pokeball for about a day, you should be fine. Which I feel like he'd been doing. Lapras only gets 3 little vitamins. So she's learned from the Magikarp issue, which is good. So she's just not throwing them out willy-nilly.
Well, in her defense, that was Chansey that poured the medicine.
You know what? You're right. I didn't catch that. You're right. Sure is a pill pusher. So, they basically volunteer to help Nurse Joy on her rounds. And so Nurse Joy's like, all right, everybody follow me and keep an even pace. And she just fucking floors it. She's gone. And Misty's like, oh, a nice even pace, huh? She's like, our pace is even, but it's only about as tenth as fast as hers is. And then, it's very important to note that it's her and it's Misty and Ash in one canoe with Pikachu, and he's on his own. He's going faster than Ash and Misty, but not quite as fast as Nurse Joy. And my comment here is horniness makes you do crazy things.
Yes.
This is when I throw to you, because I've seen you move pretty fast when you're motivated.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, and then this is when they realize they've lost track of Nurse Joy. And like, what the fuck? And then this is when we get a quick little montage of
This is the
Nurse
second
Joy.
week in a row we're getting montages.
I'm telling you, man, they realized 20 minutes is not that easy to fill. They're like, can we do like 3 or 4 minutes of music? Yeah, I think we can get away with that. So we see Nurse Joy is putting a Band-Aid on a Kingler and
visiting a small village on one of the small islands.
And it's a good, and then you see there's a trouble with an Onyx, and
she's trying to give Onyx a shot, and Onyx is like, no, I don't want a shot.
I'm bigger and made of rock. You can't make me do what I don't want to do. We see her being hoisted up by Bulbasaur's vines to a
Mankey.
That's a Mankey, right? That hadn't evolved yet.
Yes.
Which I didn't catch that she was being helped by Bulbasaur. I thought she was just climbing that sumbitch. And let's see. And then we are coming up to her kayak. It's empty. And we see that Misty and Ash have suddenly gotten their own canoes. And I want to know how or when that happened.
From the last island, Doug. Keep up.
No, fuck you, keep up, because him and Misty were in the same canoe when they started out.
I know.
So where do you pick up the third canoe?
They were given it by the guy that had the Onyx. He's like, I have an extra canoe. Why don't you, Misty, take this one, you pretty little girl? And then she's like, oh, well, thank you. And then they went canoeing again. And Misty got a free canoe, and he just says, well, just make sure you return it before you start on your adventure again. And Misty was like, bet. So that's how she.
And that's why you click on this episode, because you're not going to get that analysis anywhere else. So, yeah, we come up and we see that Nurse Joy's canoe is empty. And we don't see her or Chansey. And this is when they immediately assume the worst.
Yes. Fucking Tracy is like, what if Gyarados overturned their boat? And then we get like a small drawing of a wild Gyarados coming out of the water with a big wave, and then Nurse Joy and Chansey just being swooped over into the water, like, oh no. And then Ash is like, what if Gyarados overturns our boat? And Pikachu's like, Pika. And then all of a sudden we see some bubbles in the water, and we see a nice little pink bubble just plop up on the on the water, and he's like, bless you. And they're like, that looks like a Chansey. So they they row over to the pink blob, and it's Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff turns around, has a nice little microphone, and they're like, oh no, it's Jigglypuff. And then they all roll away, and Jigglypuff gets so mad. She's like, Jiggly. And then they got away from Jigglypuff, and they're all panting, and then all of a sudden, here's Chansey and Nurse Joy. They pop up from the bottom of the water.
This was it was so quick, but I had to make note of it because I laughed out loud.
What's up?
When they're recovering after they've gotten a safe enough distance away from the Jigglypuff, I think it was Tracy because they're panting and they're like, it was about to sing. It was real close. It was.
And then when Nurse Joy pops up, Tracy is like, "We thought maybe you and Chansey got attacked by a Gyarados." And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We should have told you we were going down to treat a sick Cloyster." And Ash is like, "Cool." And she's like, "But the current must have carried us away. So from our kayak, if you would like to give us a ride back over to the kayak." And oh no, she tells,
She just sends Chansey. She's
yeah,
like, go get the kayak.
yeah, go
Fuck
get
you.
the kayak, Tracy. And I said Tracy, Chansey, and Chansey goes to retrieve it, and then out of nowhere, Ash and Tracy get naked, I guess, and they put on some swimming trunks that I did not know they even had on, and they jump into the water to Nurse Joy, and they start swimming down. So you're telling me this whole time that Nurse Joy was there, that she did not go down there and treat this Cloyster? And then Pikachu's looking, and Pikachu's like, "Well, where'd they go, and why are they going down there?" But they go down there to the Cloyster, and Nurse Joy is taking its temperature, sees that it is sick. Tracy and Ash are watching it. Freaking Dugon comes up right behind them, and is like, "Oh, Dugon, Dugon, Dugon." It's like posing in the background.
I have questions.
Hold your question for like another 10 seconds. And
Right.
Tracy is thinking, he's like, "Nurse Joy is sure dedicated to helping Pokemon." Huh. And Ash is like, "Oh, I forgot. I'm underwater. There's no air." And then Dugon comes up and he's like, "Oh, let me help you." And or no, I want to play with you. And Dugon takes Ash and just starts swimming Ash around in the water, almost killing Ash because Ash can't breathe at this point. And that's where Nurse Joy notices. So what is your question, Doug?
So I noticed when Nurse Joy was examining the Cloyster,
Yes.
he put a thermometer in its mouth.
Yes.
How in the absolute heck are you going to get a thermometer to read underwater?
It's a special water thermometer.
It's a kid's show, I know, but
Yes.
straight. That and yeah, how come it took Ash that long to realize he was underwater, and how come Nurse Joy isn't affected? And I understand how come Tracy isn't affected because all the blood isn't going to his head anyway. Then to top it off, who's that Pokemon is Geodude. Why is it Geodude?
I don't know, Doug. Why is it Geodude?
If I knew, I would tell you. I wouldn't be ranting about it.
Let me check the Pokemon list. Is it on next week's Naval Gym Snowy Mountain Battle? I don't think so. Oh, we got a gym battle.
Hey,
next
all
week.
right.
All right. That's great. That's great news for all these filler episodes that we've been doing.
Happy Thanksgiving.
For real. Yeah, we come back and right after Geodude, Doug.
So yeah, we come back and we see that Ash is sitting there with a cup of
hot cocoa.
I'm going to assume cocoa, like you said, and you can see he's kind of zonked because he almost died. And she's like, Nurse Joy's like, "That was a close call down there, Ash. I should have, and that's my fault. I should have warned you about that dugong. He was only trying to play, and it loves swimming with humans and all that." And he's like, "I hope you can forgive me for almost killing you." And Ash is like, "It's okay. I almost died twice last week." And I don't remember the episode. I'm just 50-50 shot of being right. Misty's like, "Boy, it must be draining being that you're the only person that's, it's just you and Chansey taking care of these Pokemon."
Yes.
It's hard enough when you're running a center, but you're going island to island and all that.
And that's where Nurse Joy sits here, and she reminisces back to when she was a baby Nurse Joy or a little Nurse Joy, and she was still tan. I guess
Well,
it's just blended on her body by now.
she grew up in the island.
That's true. That is true. But where the Magikarp, and we find out the Magikarp that she helped back when she was a little girl is the exact same Magikarp that she helped out today.
Isn't that special?
I know. It grew up with her. I mean, you would think that it would have evolved into Gyarados by
Man, spoilers, for goodness sakes.
now. No, I mean, I would say by now, like she's an adult and it would already be a Gyarados by now.
Oh, fair point.
She's a full grown lady now, and she's been caring for this Magikarp for gosh knows how long, and it still hasn't evolved.
That's a fair point. I did have to note that we flash to a scene of her on a yacht with a gaggle of other Nurse Joys, and she falls in, and that Magikarp just happens to be there, and she's happier than shit, and Magikarp's happy to see her again, and you can see that even at that point,
I got bothered with that.
boy,
There are five
the
other
convenience.
Yeah, there are 5 other Nurse Joys on this boat. She falls in. They all notice that she fell in. Not one of them jumped in after.
They're off duty.
I don't give a fuck. That's their sister or their cousin.
Peace.
Niece, whatever. They all look alike. They for some reason all the Nurse Joys look like they have the same daddy.
Don't know if I want to go into that any further.
We won't. But yeah, they all watched her fall in. Then the Magikarp comes up and brings her up. Yeah, because the Magikarp is more like a mother to her than her damn sisters. Sorry.
Truth. I mean, you're not wrong.
It just bothered me. I mean, just being a parent, I guess watching this as a parent, if I would have seen one of my kids jump over or get bumped into the ocean, my ass is diving in and finding my child. So,
No.
but
You're
that's
also
just
not
me.
living. You're also not living in a cartoon.
Yeah, I'm not. I guess maybe if I was living in Pokemon world, I was like, oh, maybe another Pokemon will go over and save her. And
Or I can just throw out one of my Pokemon and everything will be fine. I'll even have to get out of this chair.
Or maybe out of nowhere the blue genie from Aladdin will appear and I'll get a wish.
But that's a whole different franchise. You can't be mixing shit.
Oh yeah, you can. It's the multiverse now.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, Star Wars is in Disney now.
Everything is in Disney now.
For real. All right. But from here, she says that's how she decided that she is going to take care of the Pokemon around this island. Misty's like, that was such a great story. And Nurse Joy's like, yeah, we've been friends ever since, me and that Magikarp. And Tracy's like, you know what this proves? This proves that Pokemon and people can be friends together. And it's at this point that that Ash should have just like jumped up and been like, "You're just now noticing this? Like me and Pikachu and me and my Lapras, like I'm friends with all my Pokemon, and just because she has boobs, you want to sit here and and say this now? Come on." Tracy's just trying to get all the brownie points in this episode. I just want to point that out.
He's trying like hell.
But we go outside. The wind is gusting. And Tracy's like, Nurse Joy, you're not going back out again, are you? And she's like, I've got to make one more stop today before I finish my rounds. And they're like, I'm sorry, I must have thrown you off on your schedule. And she's like, it happens all the time. When you're dealing with Pokemon, you have to expect the unexpected. And Tracy is worried about the winds and the waves that seem to be coming to the Orange Islands. And Doug, I'm going to blow it on over to you.
So, Tracy's like, wait until the storm passes. And, Nurse, pardon me, Nurse Joy just takes off like a shot. And Misty's like, maybe she'll be all right. And Tracy picks up his paddle, and Ash is like, no, don't you go getting any ideas. Which is ridiculous of him to say, but, only 7 minutes left in the episode. We don't have time to start picking at nits.
For real.
And she's like, it's too dangerous. And then Tracy's like, I'm going to underline your point. I'm going to underline your point and say, look at that sky. And you can see that the clouds are rolling in and the waves are picking up. And Tracy's like, if I let Nurse Joy out there by herself, I'll never forgive myself. I'll never score. And so he goes off to his canoe, and Ash looks back and goes, well, it is my show. You should probably go help him. And he's like, oh, God, I knew you would say that. And we do one cut, and then all of a sudden we're just in the middle of the mother of all storms.
Yes.
And it's become dark, and the waves are just and Nurse Joy is straining against the waves, and you can see how focused she is. And then over the horizon, Tracy, Ash, and Misty just paddling up like idiots.
And then a big wave turns them over. It wasn't a Gyarados, it was a fucking wave.
Big ass wave. And I mean, that just completely tips them all three out. And somehow Ash's hat stayed on, which I mean, it's a kid's show, I understand, but
he was holding on to it. But why did he even walk out with the damn hat, knowing what was about to happen? That does bother me. Thank you.
Why? Yeah, right. And why are him and Tracy not in their swim trunks that they were in when they went? Anyway, whatever.
Whatever. And
Tracy's got his whole backpack on his back.
Yeah, and so does Ash. Ash does too. Next frame.
That's true.
So my thing is, there goes the canoe that Misty has to give back to that poor boy that was flirting with her. And Nurse Joy is sitting there. She's like, let out all your water Pokemon quick. There's a little island nearby. Have to follow me and I'll paddle you all there. And Ash is like, okay, I choose you. And he throws out his Squirtle, and Squirtle's like, squirt. And then Tracy throws out Meryl, a little cute Meryl. And okay, Misty throws out Staryu. Did we establish that Starmie is back with her sisters at the gym? Because why is she throwing out Staryu when she has a Starmie?
Yeah, I think I asked that a couple episodes ago. I was like, why is she using Staryu? Doesn't she have a Starmie? And that's when you said,
oh yeah,
she was.
I think Grant told us that, actually.
It might have been Grant. If it is Grant, I apologize for getting them mixed up. But yeah, somebody on one of our shows said that Starmie was back with her sisters.
Yes.
As protection.
And then all of a sudden, out pops Psyduck. And Psyduck is like, Psy. And then Psyduck is in the water. We know Psyduck can't swim. And Psyduck's being taken by the waves. And Misty's like, why did you come out of your ball if you can't swim? And Psyduck's like, yeah. And then we fast forward to a small island where all of our heroes are pooped and is now the storm has passed, and everyone is nice and wet on this island. Ash has no idea what to do, and Misty's like, yeah. And instead of saving us, she was well, instead of saving the Pokemon out there, she was saving us. And Tracy's like, I apologize, Nurse Joy. And she's like, that's all right. You were only trying to help me. And she's like, um why don't we all go visit the baby seal? They're like, great. And then it's at this moment that we have 7 minutes left of this cartoon, probably five left, and we finally get Team Rocket. And Team Rocket is inside of their Magikarp um, submarine.
Marine.
Yeah, and they're like, maybe we should launch a direct assault and grab that Pikachu. And Meowth is like, what about that Chansey? And they're like, yeah, that. We'll grab that Chansey too. And they're like, ooh, whatever plan we use, it's time that I know we're gonna win. And James is like, you're awfully confident today. And Meowth is like, no way we can lose this one. Not with a secret weapon that I came up with this time. And he presses a little tiny button, and a torpedo comes flying out of Magikarp's head. And the torpedo opens up, and it's a big old net. And it clamps into the sand, and it's all over all of our heroes with Chansey in there as well. And they're like, I bet I know who trapped us. And out comes Team Rocket. Doug?
And the what you call it, the submarine comes out, and Nurse Joy goes, is that a Magikarp? And she goes, no, that's Team Rocket. And she goes, who's Team Rocket? And that was their cue to come popping out of the top, and they do their little auto, and and say it looks like we're going to be walking out of here with 2 Pokemon instead of 1, and aren't we lucky? And Ash is like, won't you ever leave us alone? And James is like, as long as you have Pikachu, we're going to stick to you like glue. And ain't that the truth? And then Nurse Joy starts getting upset because the whole reason she went out in the storm was because there's a group of baby seal that have been sick lately, and she knows that they have to she has to get to them before it's too late. And then they flash on the seal, and that's just sad for no reason. And like you said, there's only like 3 minutes left in the episode. There's no reason to do that shit. And Nurse Joy's got tears in her eyes, and she's straining against the rope, and even as jacked as she is, she can't do anything. And she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do, and I can't let anything happen to the seals. And she starts to tear up, and it starts to come out a little bit, and it's like, oh, please let something happen to save them. And all of a sudden,
here's Magikarp.
The big old honking Magikarp just rams the submarine, and James is like, did we hit something? And Meowth's like, we couldn't have. We weren't moving. And I didn't catch this on first watch, but in the impact, James got knocked to the point where Jesse had to grab him to keep him from falling in the water. And the big old wave comes up, and it's Magikarp. And he's, you can see he's pissed off. And he's just like, how did that Magikarp know to get here? And he's like, right, let's get rid of it. And
Magikarp just keeps tackling the mess out of the submarine and can't break it. So what does it do, Doug?
And you can see that the wound from the headbutt is starting to show up on Magikarp, and you can see that he's getting frustrated because he's not he's not doing anything, and you can see that it's hurting him, but he's not going to quit. And you can see he's like, and Nurse Joy's like, oh, Magikarp, and like power of her tear. It's like an Ash Ketchum special because the power of her tears basically helps Magikarp evolve into Gyarados right in front of us. And Team Rocket shrieks and like, oh my god, it's a Gyarados. And it takes like 2 seconds for Gyarados to swing its tail one time and just knock Team Rocket and the submarine into the sky. And a nice little touch I noticed again on this rewatch. Submarine has X's for eyes.
Yes.
James says we got involved and then Magikarp evolved and then they're like, oh, we're blasting off again, and they're gone, which is fine because there's only like a minute left. And they're like, great job, Gyarados, and then Gyarados turns and then they're like, oh shit, it's a Gyarados. And they're like, oh, we're screwed. And Misty's like, we probably would have been safer with Team Rocket. And Gyarados comes in and they're like, oh my god, it's going to eat us. This is how it ends. And Gyarados is still a big softy the Magikarp was. And everybody in the net except for Chansey and Gyarados do the anime faint. And oh my god, I need new pants. And Misty's like, it evolved into a Gyarados, but it still has Magikarp's personality. And Gyarados is all smiling. And
she should capture this Gyarados, but I guess Gyarados likes living in the ocean the way that it does. But she should totally capture this Gyarados and ride this Gyarados around instead of kayaking, because Gyarados will get her to point A to point B in no time.
Oh, for sure. But again, it's a kid's show, and kids shows don't necessarily always trafficking in logic.
Yeah, for real. It is Pokemon.
So we do finally put a bow on the seal situation, and we see Nurse Joy is giving the sick little seal a dose of medicine, and she's like, you'll be fine. And the little seal's so stinking cute, and the seals on the island are happy, and Tracy's got a boner, and Joy's happy that she's helping the Pokemon, and we're wrapping up the episode, and Nurse Joy's talking to Gyarados, and she's like, it looks like my calcium tablets and that tussle with Team Rocket was all it took. I'm sitting there going, well, yeah, you gave him a whole bottle of those calcium tablets.
For real.
And that's enough to evolve him into 2 Gyaradoses. And she's like, they really do get get along well together, don't they? And you could see that Tracy's sketching on his pad, and he's made a flash image of Gyarados and Nurse Joy, and she turns to Ash and said, a while back you mentioned that you wanted to be a Pokemon master. Well, there's a gym on Naval Island, and you could get a badge. And Ash is like, great, a plot point.
And then we go straight from there to them riding onto the back of Lapras to end the episode, and the narrator goes, well, I guess we're off to Naval Island so Ash can get his next gym badge. And that is how we end this episode.
Ranking.
Yeah, what would you rank this episode? I would give it. I'll help you on this one. I'll give it.
You go first for once.
I'll give it a solid 3. It was fairly entertaining. It was nice to see a different Nurse Joy. We did get an evolution in this. We got some good storytelling. We did get a small Pokemon battle with Gyarados doing what it needed to do to Team Rocket. But not much after that. I mean, so I would say a solid 3. I wouldn't go as far as giving it a 2 because I did enjoy this episode reviewing it more than I did actually watching it the first time, which I guess I'm starting to say on a lot of episodes. But um,
If we
I
ever stop
enjoyed
an
it.
episode, if we ever stop an episode and say that was a shit episode, I hate you, I never want to review an episode like that again, then I'll know we're in trouble.
Well, I think we hit that point for one of the band episodes because
Well,
you
because we
don't
had to
ever,
do it twice.
yeah, you don't ever want to do that again.
That's true, but that wasn't necessarily our fault. Well, see, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 3.5 because I was at 3 watching it, and then reviewing of it, and it was a sweet episode, and um you know oh everything that went into it, and we did have the evolution at the 5 yard line and everything like that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna say 3.5.
Okay, good stuff. So, all right. I do have a Pokemon card pack. It is a Sword and Shield Fusion Strike pack, everybody. I'm going to open this live on the air. Normally I have this already cracked open, but let's see if I can actually get it open. If I can't get it open, you guys are not getting any code today. Man, they put the super glue on this one. There we go. All right, it is. So I do have a black card,
Ah, shit.
which means that no, remember a black card for this pack is going to be a good card, um good final card. So your
Okay.
code this week is DCL Z67N RYB everybody. And Doug, what energy? It's a basic energy. What energy am I getting ready to announce?
Basic energy. I'm gonna feel real stupid if it's not, but I don't think it is because I think you would have said something.
Go with your gut, bro. Go with your gut.
Okay, water.
Fire. It is
Oh, fuck.
fire. Yeah, it's fire this week.
I was thinking honestly, I was thinking electric, and then you said go with your gut, and I was like, all right.
But the first Pokemon is a water Pokemon. I have a Semipour. I have a Trainer Bug Catcher, a Wigglytuff, a Voltorb, a Pansage, a Cufant, a Gligar, a Slugma. My reverse holo is a Snorlax, and my rare. Ooh, hoo-hoo! I do not have this one. I will be adding. I have a VMAX Chandelure. Everybody,
Ooh,
yes, and it's a nice full art shiny Pokemon card as I drop it onto the floor. But
shit.
there we go. I got it back up. It didn't get hurt. I got carpet in here.
The
But
card for 4 seconds.
but real quick, everybody. I need to air some grievances real quick.
Oh no, I thought we weren't gonna do this.
Oh no. Not that type of grievances.
Oh.
The Pokemon manga. Okay. So
Pokemon Mom.
I mean not Pokemon manga. The Pokemon anime, everybody. Pokemon anime. I watched the latest episode of Pokemon, the Japanese version.
Oh boy.
And people that are watching these animes, for the most part, should be completely caught up with what's going on in the Pokemon. tell me why I watched. Well, I turned it off like I wouldn't even say 12 minutes, like 10 minutes in, because I was like, fuck this, I'm not watching this. Tell me why they have a whole fucking episode devoted to Go and reviewing everything that he did in the past episodes on his new adventure. It was a whole recap episode. I was so mad. No advancing, no nothing. But we did get a preview for the next Pokemon episode. And Ash starts off the 30-second preview, by saying the finals are tomorrow, which means that we're not getting the finals on this next episode. but we are getting an adventure episode. So I just want to say it looks like we were getting Berserker in this anime as well. And the episode is titled Go and Aceburn, the place it all began. So I am excited, everybody. So I will keep you up to date on how I feel about some of these. I'm not going to give any major spoilers into this, but I just had to air my grievances because I was so happy because I forgot there was a new episode. And my son was like, it got to be evening time. And my son was like, wasn't there a new episode of Pokemon this weekend? I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. And we turned it on and we both got mad and we just turned it off. So, because I got 10 minutes, about 10 minutes in, and like every minute, like 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I could just feel my blood just going up. I'm just like, why the fuck am I watching this? I know what happened. Why are you recapping all of this for me? I was like, I don't need you to recap all this. Just play the episodes that we want. But it was that's what you call a fucking filler of all filler episodes. I was so mad.
Yeah, that sounds like it. If we ever come across an episode that bland, I might say something.
Yeah, well, if we ever come across an episode like that as we're doing our reviews, we're fucking skipping those episodes. You can your review would be go back and listen to the freaking episodes that we have been doing. I'm not reviewing a review episode.
I know. We'll post something and it'll just be the 20-minute little preamble that we usually do, and then that'll be it.
For real.
So technically we can put it in the title.
Yeah, we'll put it in the title. This is only a preamble episode because this episode meant shit. But all right, everybody, I just wanted to throw that out there to kind of air my grievances and how mad I was. But we are getting another episode this upcoming Saturday. I mean, I know we're probably done with the finals by now by the time you're listening to this. I'm in real time right now. I'm still going through these episodes.
Gotcha.
All right, everybody. You have anything else to add this week, Doug?
No, I don't think so. This was a good episode. Anytime you get to dip back into the Orange Islands is a good time. And it's like next time we go this route, we'll be getting a gym battle, which is always appreciated.
Yes, I cannot wait to do that. We get to do that next week, Doug.
Hey! And then, like you said, at some point we'll have a legitimate discussion on when to do Detective Pikachu, which I'm very excited to watch and review and everything.
Yes, and we will do this movie justice. You will get a very, very good Detective Pikachu because I'm going to do a little bit of research on what we should be looking out for in this movie before I do watch it. And right. I'm sure you'll do the same. So, all right, everybody. Well, if there's nothing else to add, this has been a newsworthy podcast and a very good podcast. So go ahead and say goodbye, Doug.
Bye, Doug.
And this is Wrestling Chris G telling all of you I will see you next week on another episode. And don't forget to listen to the manga episodes as well on your weekly podcast. I got to get that a little tiny plug. But have a good night, everybody, and I will see you later.